Hello, fabulous superstar Libra. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of June 2024. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological month, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Boy, is it a very special time. Big energies with us right out of the gate, I tell you. And there's a party going on in fellow air sign Gemini. This is a worldly part of your sky having to do with long distance travel, immigration, citizenship, higher learning, legal matters, as well as the personal beliefs that help you to make sense of the world and guide your life. And so I've been talking about one of these energies as of late, and it has to do with Jupiter. You've seen me talk about it here on YouTube, on my website, nadiyashah.com, and so on. Having said that, though, wow, when you get Jupiter moving into an air sign, you're able to access that energy that much more. And you're able to cultivate a spirit of optimism that much more as well. For you, this represents the world opening up to you in some way. And for some Libras, it's going to be quite literal. For others, it's going to be happening on much more personal heart levels. Regardless, though, powerful moments here. And one of the best moments of this larger Jupiter 1-year transit begins as we begin this month. And that is when Jupiter will align in supreme harmony with Pluto. Mercury is going to be there meeting Jupiter, also speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto as well. These energies play out over the course of the 3rd and the 4th of the month in most of the world. They kick in on the 2nd of the month if you're in the Americas. Now, having said that, it's just the beginning in some ways, but this is a real spirit of the possible, and great things are possible, especially for you now. The more open you are, like figuratively, literally, to the world around you, to greater opportunity, to adventure, the more likely it's going to feel not only that adventure calls, but it shows up for you in delightful ways. Your horizons are expanding. Again, this could be literal. Travel, for example, but it might also be more deeply personal, where your worldview and your relationship with the world around you is going through a shift. Whether that shift involves healing, whether that shift involves openness. It could also be you getting more active, maybe within a spiritual community, philosophical community, maybe politically. But there is a sense of awareness around your power and your ability to shape the world and the larger world in some way that can be part of what feels like it strengthens you now. The world of ideas, especially considering that Mercury is there, might feel especially appealing to you. And getting like mass or world media attention in some way could happen for you at this time as well, if that's something that you're hoping to align with as part of creating awareness as to what it is that you do. Having said that, though, on the 6th of the month, we're going to have a new moon in this same part of the sky. And that new moon is going to be right there, hand in hand with your ruling planet, Venus. So what happens around that new moon is especially significant. Again, expanding your horizons, helping you to engage more of the world, maybe philosophically or maybe quite literally. But the thing with the new moon is that the new moon is speaking in a conversation of tension with Saturn. And that makes the energy a little tricky, because as much as new moons bring with them new beginnings, there's also a need for some patience, or a need to be honest with yourself. Are you up for the task? Are you really wanting to engage a certain opportunity? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to sacrifice of yourself, of your time, in order to feel as if you are moving into alignment with bigger and better, especially where it comes to work-related opportunities at this time? And so it could be some work opportunity, but it involves relocating. And that could be big. That might make you think, okay, maybe this isn't the right opportunity for you. It could be that there's an educational opportunity, but the relocation involved means investment, practical matters. How are you going to make that come together for you? So these become parts of the possible considerations that are available to you now, especially around that new moon. Being patient might mean being willing to engage the journey, to go for it, knowing that larger rewards will eventually be there. Or being patient might be deciding that a certain path or a certain journey is not for you right now. Your answers are going to be uniquely your own. On the 22nd of the month, we will have this month's full moon. This full moon is taking place in the foundation of your chart, having to do with your past and your living situation and your family of origin, your parents in particular, where that applies. This full moon is important for a couple of reasons. One is that full moons tend to bring with them culmination and conclusion, but this full moon is happening at the very beginning of its respective sign of this part of your sky. There's a phenomenon called a blue moon, and culturally, a blue moon represents the second full moon that takes place in a singular calendar month. Astrologically, a blue moon is when we have a second full moon in the same sign, back to back after the first, 28 and a half days apart. This full moon right now, on the 22nd of June, is the first piece of what eventually is going to bring about next month's blue moon. Next month's full moon will happen in the same part of your sky at the foundation of your chart, but whereas this one happens at the very beginning, that one's going to happen at the very end. And so this full moon sets the stage for the upcoming blue moon. Whatever happens now, it might feel like a final answer, but it really isn't. Whatever happens now, as much as it represents conclusions, there's also a new beginning, a new potential wrapped into it as well. And ultimately, you will need that little bit of time, another month, for the next full moon to really understand the full emotional truth around how you feel about a matter close to home. And so, I like to say, pace yourself and be yourself. You're going to need to remember that, at least with this full moon this month, it is speaking in supreme harmony with Mars. I love this energy for you, I have to say. It is energized, it's alive, it's enthusiastic, it's engaged. And if it is that you have a home-based business or you work with homes, this can be a time of prosperity, of wealth. If it is that this energy is coming together related to a family matter, well, this could be a time when you're making choices and things are changing from the inside out in a way that feels positive and enlivening. If you're wanting to change your living situation, buy, sell, move, attract a new roommate, this is where the funding part of it can come together in a way that feels like a blessing. On the 28th of the month, Saturn will go retrograde. Saturn is continuing to move through a part of the sky for you that has to do with your daily life. So this can relate to your work life, your clients, customers, coworkers, immediate supervisors. But it can also relate to the type of work you're doing. Now, outside of work, this can connect you to how well you take care of you, including your health-related habits. And so there's a focus at this time on what is happening in your day-to-day life and needing to accept some realities, the way that things are. Perhaps you're wanting advancement, but you're being asked to be patient, you're being asked to wait. Perhaps you need to cultivate more skills or more experience in order to have the kind of work-related advancement you desire. This could be a challenging moment with a client, a customer, a coworker, or immediate supervisor. It might feel rather consequential. And this might be one of those moments where it feels like one of these people, the dynamic changes, or maybe they are making certain decisions that might impact the work. And you get to decide what it's going to mean and how to navigate forward with that. It might be at this time that you start to feel like you want to be more serious around health-related matters and taking the best of care of you. Remember, with Saturn, it's the little things that add up to big positive changes. And that's where the power is for you at this time. Where it comes to matters of love, on the 9th of the month, Mars will leave your opposite sign and move into a part of the sky that has to do with vulnerability and intimacy. It's going deeper than just understanding how to relate and share with another person, which is what Mars in your opposite sign, well, that was the journey that you undertook with that. And Mars in your opposite sign over the last month and a half encouraged you to be courageous, whether it is in working through matters having to do with a one-on-one partnership or in pursuing relationships at this time. But now, as you go to a deeper layer, it becomes about really wanting to be known, knowing another. But this part of the sky is also very consequential. It's honest. And where you have something that can be honest, it will grow stronger. But where that isn't the case, well, given where Mars is moving into on the 9th of the month for the next month and a half, well, that could be the deal breaker that has you going another way. So for those of you open to meeting someone new, there's such a desire for something that feels deep, that feels meaningful, that feels authentic. And over the course of this larger transit, you might find yourself having very strong attractions to particular people, feeling propelled in those given directions, feeling as if you are being moved, if you will, by fate almost to align with certain people. And intimacy can feel like it hurries along or it happens very quickly. There's an intensity to the people you're meeting now. So, I like to say pace yourself and be yourself, right? But that it's almost like that's hard to do, and yet that might be a good idea to do, because things can go from like 0 to 100. Things can go from like 0 to super intense very quickly. Pace yourself if at all possible. You're learning a lot about yourself in the context of understanding yourself more deeply by having profound feelings for others. For those of you just starting to date someone, you want something that feels authentic, that feels profound, that feels real. The superficial just doesn't cut it, especially this area of life that Mars is about to move into and will be in for a month and a half. If there's something here that does feel substantive, you are about to dive right in and feel that much more enmeshed with this person. But if it is that isn't the case, the superficiality of it just isn't going to do it for you. It's just going to feel that much more evident and obvious. And if it feels like that's the kind of connection that's here, if you're not really feeling it, you're likely to go a whole other way. There's a desire for emotions that make you aware, that change you from the inside out. And if you don't have that with this person, you'll seek it out in another. And for those of you in an established bond, the most likely scenario is that you and your partner reach another level of vulnerability and intimacy, sharing more deeply, knowing each other more deeply, bonding that much more deeply. For the very small percentage of Libras out there, if you felt for a while that maybe you're not in the right relationship for you, Mars move into a brand new part of the sky gets you honest. It gets you honest about what is actually here. And if there are things that the two of you can work through, you'll commit that much more deeply to doing that work. But if that isn't the case, well, given that Mars is moving into this deeply transformative part of the sky, that transformation may make you realize that you're ready to go another way. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say I love the energy of having, well, these powerful energies in fellow air sign Gemini. That is huge. Your world is expanding. It is opening up for you in powerful ways. And it starts right out of the gate as you start this month. This rare, sweet spot of energy with Jupiter trine Pluto is something very special. You want to tap into it. Do what it is that feels inspiring, that feels like it excites you, that feels like it opens up the world to you, inner or outer worlds. It is your enthusiasm and your optimism that truly can make great things possible for you now. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership Rate at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded, exclusive video scopes. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.